Today I have for you green peas tikki. So I'm going to start with heating a pan. Into this I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of oil. Once the oil is nice and hot, into this I'm going to add in a teaspoon of cumin seeds. Once the cumin seeds are nicely roasted, into this I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of finely chopped ginger. Cook the ginger for a few seconds. And next into this I'm going to add in green peas. So I have 2 cups of green peas here that I've half crushed in the blender. These green peas are raw. I haven't boiled them. So I'm just going to saute them for about 2 minutes. Keep stirring on this continuously and cook on high heat. Two minutes are done and now I'm going to turn off the flame. So basically we don't need to overcook this because they're going to cook while roasting as well. And now let this cool down completely. While the green peas mixture is cooling down, let's mix up a few other ingredients. So I have 1 big potato boiled and mashed here, 3 tablespoons of coarsely ground roasted peanuts, 3 tablespoons of freshly grated coconut. For some reason, green peas, peanuts and coconut is a perfect combination and I love using the 3 ingredients whenever I'm making a recipe together. Next I have 2 slices of bread that I've just ground in the blender. So this is fresh white bread. I've just made breadcrumbs out of it. A handful of coriander leaves. 1.5 tablespoon of ginger and chili paste. 1 teaspoon amchur or raw mango powder. If you don't have this, you can always add a few drops of lemon juice. 1 teaspoon of cumin seed powder, 2 to 3 tablespoons of corn flour. Depending on how soft your potato mash is, you might need to adjust the quantity of the corn flour. Salt to taste. And now I'm going to add in the green peas mixture. Make sure it's completely cooled down. Let's mix all these ingredients together now. So the mixture is ready. It's not too soft, not too hard. It's just perfect to shape the tikkis. So let's start shaping them. Take a small portion. If it's too sticky, you can always apply a little bit of oil onto your palms. Make flat tikkis, and to give it a uniform edge, just roll it over a plate so that you finish the sides. Similarly, let's roll all the tikkis. These tikkis are done and I'm going to shallow fry them. If you wish to deep fry, you can do so. Add a little bit of oil in the pan. Make sure the entire surface of the pan is nicely coated with oil. Let's start placing the patties in the pan. Let's flip them over. They become nice and brown on one side. Now let it cook on the other side as well. Let's check on these. They seem to be done on the other side as well. Let's get them out.
Green pea soup. Let's begin. Let's begin this recipe with a touch of oil. You could also use a little bit of butter just to kind of make it nice and rich, but really optional because it's going to be loaded with cream. Classically, next ingredient, cloves of garlic, just roughly bashed. Like so. This goes straight in the oil, which is just kind of beginning to heat up. Let's add in some red onions. Let's add these as well. With this, I'm also going to add in a little bit of white onions. When I say white onions, I mean the bottoms of the spring onion or the bulbs. Let's add these as well. Let's saute this on high flame for like a minute or so. We're not intending to bring any color in the recipe. It's only to ensure that the onions are just cooked. The raw flavor goes out and in goes a single bay leaf. I'm just going to snip it into two. And with this, I'm going to add in a very different kind of an ingredient, and this is ajwain or carom seeds. This is very easily available in all Indian homes across the globe. Let's add this in. Just a touch of it, just to bring in that little thymol family flavor, which is the identity of thyme. Let's stir this well. And with this, I'm going to add in peas. Now these are of course blanched fresh green peas. You can also use frozen by all means. While they're fresh in season, make the most of green peas. Let's stir this well. Ladies and gentlemen, let's add in regular table salt. Do not go very adventurous with the salt because it's a cream soup. It's just subtly there. Let's add this in. And of course, this can also be adjusted later. So for now, I think this is fine and good. Let's stir this well. And to this, I'm going to add in a cup of water. Let's stir this well and allow this to kind of get cooked on high flame. This is going to take some around 7 to 8 minutes. And while that's happening, let's add in 2 more layers of flavor. The first one being coriander, fresh coriander leaves. And along with this, I'm also adding in the spring greens. If you notice, I added the whites earlier while sauteing. I'm adding a little bit of the green part just to kind of bring in that extra additional flavor and also accentuate the green color. I'm adding these 2 ingredients not just for its flavor but also for the wonderful green color to the green pea soup. Let's add these in. Like I said, they're absolutely roughly cut because all of this is going to get blended nice and smooth. Let's stir this well and allow this to continue cooking. The peas are well cooked. Just as a reminder, bay leaf needs to get knocked out. And this entire mixture I'm transferring in a larger bowl so that now this can cool down to room temperature, because the next step is blending this into a fine puree. Well, I'm saying fine puree because I'm not going to strain this or sieve this. Technically, that's how it's done, but I just like to retain the goodness of peas and the other ingredients. This mixture has cooled down well. To hasten the process, I've also added in some pieces of ice. Let's transfer this in a blender or a mixie jar. The peas are finely ground and ready. Let's have a quick check. That's exactly how we want it. Let's transfer all of this into the same wok or same pan and bring it to the consistency of a regular soup. So I'm going to not waste any of this. Shake it. And I'm going to use all the goodness which is here. Well, apart from this, I'm going to need a little more water. Turn the flame on, medium high, and mix all of this well. Well, some people like their soup nice and thick, some like it thin, but it's a cream soup, so it's going to be thick. Remember that. Of course, I'm going to add in some more cream to make it creamier than it already is. Cream also can be avoided. It's a personal choice completely. The only thing is, with the addition of cream, it becomes nice and rich. And also with this, I'm going to add in some freshly cracked black pepper. A quick few stirs, a quick few boils, and your cream soup is done and ready. Time to plate this now. Some generous serving of cream again. And finally, some black pepper.
Green peas chaat. So let's add in the salt. Also 1.5 cup of raw green peas. And now I'm going to boil this for about 4 to 5 minutes. I just want them parboiled. Make sure the flame is on high and the water is boiling at all times. 4 minutes are up and I'm going to turn off the flame. And let's get these green peas out. So I've lined a bowl with some kitchen towel so that it absorbs any kind of excess moisture. Just let them cool down for a few minutes. The green peas have cooled down slightly and now I'm going to turn on the flame. And in this pan, I'm going to heat up 1.5 tablespoons of oil. Once it's hot, I'm going to add in half a teaspoon of cumin seeds. Next goes in 1.5 tablespoons of finely chopped ginger. And now into this, I'm going to add these green peas. Give this a mix and let this roast on low flame for at least a good 3 to 4 minutes. These peas are done. And now I'm going to turn off the flame, and after that I'm going to add in all the dry spices. So I have 1 teaspoon of cumin seed powder, 1 teaspoon of black salt or kala namak, half a teaspoon of chaat masala, half a teaspoon of red chili powder, 1 green chili de-seeded and finely chopped. Give this a good mix. And now into this, I'm going to add in 1 tomato de-seeded and finely chopped. Make sure it's a small tomato, not too big. Also, 1 small onion finely chopped. Coriander leaves. Give this a mix. And the last ingredient is some lemon juice. Around a teaspoon of lemon juice, not much. If healthy chaats are your thing, do check the link for chana masala in the description box below. Let's give this a last stir now. and plate it. It's so quick and easy with very few ingredients, and it's a good snack for kids, maybe around snack time, or even you can give it in their lunch boxes. Last, I'm going to garnish this with a little bit of save. If you have it handy, then you can add some. Let's see the recipe for haldi ki sabzi. So now I'm going to show you how to peel this turmeric. Take a knife and scrape off the skin of the turmeric. In this way, clean up all the turmeric. I've cleaned up some, and I also have a piece of ginger over here that I've cleaned. And now I'm going to grate all these ingredients together. Use the fine side of the grater and let's grate the turmeric. I've grated around 200 grams of turmeric, and now I also have a small piece of ginger. All the grating is done, and now let's start cooking. In a pan, let's heat ghee. I'm going to heat 1/4 cup of ghee in this pan. Once the ghee is nice and hot, into this I'm going to add 1 bay leaf, 2 small pieces of cinnamon and 2 cloves, 1/4 teaspoon of asafoetida or hing, a tablespoon of garlic finely chopped, 1 small onion finely chopped. Cook the onions till they are nice and soft. Next, add in the grated turmeric and ginger. Give this a good mix. Cover and cook the turmeric for at least 6 to 8 minutes. Let's check on the turmeric. The turmeric looks done, and now let's add in 1 tomato grated. Also add in half a cup of green peas. Next, let's add in 1 teaspoon of coriander cumin seed powder, also half a teaspoon of red chili powder, 2 green chilies finely chopped. Give this a good mix. Next, let's add in half a cup of churned curd, salt to taste. After adding the curd, keep stirring it at least for a minute till everything is nicely mixed. Once the peas are cooked, let's add in 1 tablespoon of cashew nuts and 1 tablespoon of raisins. Also add in 1 spring onion finely chopped. Give all these ingredients a good mix. Cover and let this cook for just a minute, and it's going to be ready. This sabzi is ready. Let's turn off the flame. Let's plate this.
Methi Matar Pulao. For Methi Matar Pulao, of course, you require Methi, which is fenugreek, which is of course a winter vegetable. You need Matar, which is again winter vegetable, but nevertheless you can also use it through the year if it's frozen rightly. Another ingredient which is very, very important is the quality of rice. Of course, you can use long grain, short grain, completely personal. Apart from that, you need a few flavorings. Of course, we'll come to that, but now what's happening is picking methi leaves which are in season. Of course, you need to dust them lightly because there's a lot of mud still in the roots. Snip them off, and then what you need to do is take this and snip off the absolutely tender part like so. What's left is edible, but nevertheless not for this recipe. You can of course use this in a sabzi or something like that, but for the pulao, you only kind of need the leaves. Once this is ready, you keep all of this aside, and this gets roughly cut. Let's keep the matar aside for now. Collect all of this together like a dense ball of leaves. Put them back, and with a sharp knife, you just kind of start shredding them. It's going to be an uneven shred, but that's exactly what you're requiring here. That's done and ready. The next is to move all of this aside and move onto red onions. I'm going to slice them. Once the peas are kind of shelled and ready, the fenugreek leaves are cut, processed and ready, the onions are ready. One last step of processing, and that is crushing fresh cloves of garlic along with green chilies, and this is purely for flavor. Crush them roughly. You do not need a paste per se. Once this is also crushed and ready, the next step is absolutely simple. We heat a cauldron or a pot on high flame, and to this we add in desi ghee. Once the ghee heats up, we begin the recipe with whole garam masala or khada garam masala. First things first, bay leaf, and along with this I'm going to add in some cloves and cinnamon. Before they begin burning, I'm going to add in the red onions. Let's saute this on high flame. A touch of salt, just let it be translucent, and that's also okay, because eventually it's a pulao. So all of that is going to become nice, soft and mushy once it gets cooked. Over the years, I've realized that when the onions are slightly undone, especially in a pulao, the pulao eventually becomes softer. Remember that. At this stage, I'm going to add in the crushed garlic and chilies. Next, I'm going to add in, of course, the methi, which has been cut and ready. Stir fry this on high flame. To this, I'm also going to add in the matar, which is green peas. You also get this frozen through the year, so no complaints. Finally, I'm going to add in rice, which has been washed 3 times until the water is nice and clear. Next is to add in the rice, which has been soaking for the last 20 minutes. You mix this perfectly well. I'm adding in 2 cups of lukewarm water. A quick stir, and this is another critical step, because that is getting the salting correct. Well, this is where most of you fail, and I know that personally. I'll give you a simple trick, and that is something that you'll never forget for a lifetime. Always remember, the amount of salt is always as much as seawater. To begin with, a teaspoon, give it a stir, and then you always taste it, because the water needs to taste like saline water or like seawater. Now this is a recipe for all those, of course, who love methi matar along with rice. There are no hassles of making anything separate. All you can make is a tomato sour or something like a raita, and just no gravy required. So next time when you have methi matar in your pantry, you know what to make beyond a methi matar malai.